Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are playing Speedy, and so for our character trait we have plus 30% speed, plus melee damage for every 2 speed we have, 2% speed we have, minus 100 armor when standing still, and minus 3 armor. So this basically just means we're not really allowed to stand still, and it also means we have a ton of speed to start out. And well, using a lot of these weapons with a ton of speed is very obnoxious. I'm going to be honest, I think only realistically 2 of these feel okay, and that would be the Shuriken, because it has a little bit longer range. You could try with it. However, I think the Lance is built specifically with Speedy in mind, and that is because we have 30% speed scaling and 50% melee damage scaling, right? Which is both of the stats we start out with. So our weapon scales extremely well with our character. Also, we lose damage when standing still, and we have passive speed boost, which gives us more melee damage. So basically, we get a ton of melee damage, and the speed itself also turns into damage. So you can see our base damage with the Jousting Lance is 36. Okay, so I pretty much always say if you just want to win, you should go with the Jousting Lance to start out. This is a good basis. Every other weapon, using anything else is probably going to be more of a challenge towards yourself, at least when it comes to the starting weapons. I think by far the Jousting Lance is the best. So yeah, we're going to keep it simple. And you do not actually have to be moving non-stop, especially in the first wave. However, later in the rounds, you pretty much don't have a choice. You do just have to be moving. Um, And interestingly, you have so much flat damage, 16 melee damage, guys. I'm starting with 16 melee damage. That you can pretty much take these sort of scaling stats like luck and not really be worried. It's not a big deal. We are going to be picking up some jousting lances and a lost duck. I'm actually going to buy this over a weapon. I will reroll one time and lock the lance that we find. And that's just because, right, as I say pretty much every video, the first 2 shops have a 100% chance to show you 2 weapons, and about a 50% chance for one of them to be the weapon you are looking for, right? The one you have equipped. Also, I am going to be turning up my voice volume, because I had some people say that they thought my voice was a little quiet. So I'll be turning up maybe 10-20%, and you guys just let me know if it's too loud or anything, and I can just adjust it some more in the future. But yeah, for this week, I will be having it a little bit louder. We don't really want these stats, by the way. We're going to go ahead and reroll. Again, some more luck is nice. And another Jousting Lance. And then I will actually reroll, lock this, and reroll one more time. Okay, we didn't find another Lance. If we did, we could have locked it and held it in the shop. Also, I can show you guys if I take damage. Yeah, I took 3 damage from 1 hit on wave 3, right? From a baby alien. So that just goes to show you, you won't get one shot if you do stand still. Sometimes it can actually be beneficial to stand still for a little bit to make sure you're hitting the right thing. But you need to be careful because later in the rounds, if you're sitting there moving and you have a negative 100 and something armor while moving, then you're going to get one shot potentially. So you have to be very careful. I don't want to take harvesting. Luck is very different from harvesting. Speed, incredible, right? 6% speed is 3 more melee damage. We just take more speed. Buy the coupon, lock the jousting lance, roll 2 times here. Okay, we get a gentle alien. We'll go ahead and lock that. We also get a beanie, speed, and minus range. And our weapon does have very high range, as you can see. 250 for a melee weapon is pretty high. But range is a little bit important on Speedy. It makes it a lot easier to actually play the game when you have a ton of speed. Because I say this a lot, but I think anything above 20% speed is already kind of overkill on most characters. Unless you are taking a lot of speed to get more damage percent from the like the power generator item, for example. But normally speaking, I think playing with anything about 20% speed just feels obnoxious, a little bit uncomfortable. So this is an interesting character for sure. Attack speed is great, right? Because we have such high base damage. Just taking attack speed. I'm going to take more luck, by the way. Just keep taking more luck. This is a very scaling heavy way to play the game. But I think even if you just have 50 luck, that's already a lot. Also, we're buying all the items we had locked, of course. Speed minus range is fine. We'll get it back. Lost duck and a scar for some XP gain. you do have to keep in mind that range is actually half as valuable, or half effective, I should say. Half effective for melee weapons. So since we are using melee weapons, if we lose 100 range, it actually only equals 50. And if we gain 100 range, it also only equals 50, right? So we do have to keep that in mind. That is why I'm usually a lot more willing to lose range on melee characters than ranged. Or when I should say when I have melee weapons, I'm a lot more willing to lose range to trade it for something a bit more valuable. And that's also because I think a lot of the things which make you trade off range for some other stat do not actually take that much range from you. Also, we're going to go ahead and take this. Lifesteal is not incredible. I think HP regen is fine. Some characters you love one or the other, right? On this character, I mean, it's about equal, but I'd say HP regen is going to be a little easier. We don't have to pay attention to it. As you can see here, right? -8 range. Well, if we get one tier 3 range upgrade, that gives us 45 range. So that would be equal to almost 6 of these, right? Like, it would balance out. If we had 6 scars and one single tier 3 range upgrade, it would balance out. So that is why I'm not really too worried about losing range. Plus, there are a lot of items, we're taking some attack speed, there are a lot of items that do give you range, right? The baby gecko, the glasses, some other random items that are actually quite good as well. We are going to go ahead and take more speed. Just keep taking speed. In wave 6, I usually say the first difficult wave is kind of like wave 7, potentially, wave 8, and then wave 11. These are the waves that can be a little difficult. If you're struggling on waves besides these, then there's probably a chance your stats are not that good. Like, for example, if you're not killing the enemies quickly enough, or they're overwhelming you, it probably has to do with your stats not being very equally distributed, like your damage stats. So just make sure if you get chances to take, you know, attack speed, damage percent, you take them somewhat equally. That's what matters. This is just free melee damage. We're of course going to take this. We could take this as well, but I don't really like knockback, so I'm going to go ahead and skip. Skip this. This gives melee damage. We're going to take it. And we will take some more luck. We are at 46 luck now. But you can see we're stacking it up fairly quickly. We're not going to lose luck. We don't want to do that. The banner, on the other hand, like I said, we want the attack speed. We don't care about range. Or sorry, knockback. We don't care about knockback. We want the attack speed. And the range is going to put us back at break even. So this is what I said. A lot of items just give you range. And you don't ever really have to worry about it. So I say usually taking those items that lose range in exchange for something else. Like the scar, right? The beanie. I think these are all perfectly good items. And honestly, maybe they should take away more speed because I feel like more range, because I feel like the drawback is not really impactful. But you know, the game being a little easy is not necessarily a bad thing, right? It makes it more enjoyable sometimes. But you can see our damage, right? We're dealing 70 damage. I think this is by far the highest damage we've dealt on wave 7 out of any of the characters. I feel like that's probably true. Yeah, you can see Speedy has ridiculous upfront damage. He's similar to Sick in that way, right? Sick has ridiculous upfront healing stats, a ton of lifesteal, max HP. On Speedy, we have a ton of speed and a ton of damage right off the bat. Even if we weren't to take a single stat that gave us damage, we would still have ridiculous damage. We will be taking this. We like all of these stats. You might think armor is not good. It is very good, actually, because it means you can just run into things and not really be worried about getting hurt. However, we will be taking attack speed over max HP. And then here, we will actually take more speed. You know, just more damage, more speed. They're equal to each other. 5% speed, again, why not? Some more luck. A tentacle gives us a little bit of crit chance. That's perfectly fine. We are in the negatives, of course, because of the metal. That is okay. We will end up getting some crit chance, enough to make it valuable. And you see we are dealing about 87, 76 or 87 per hit. I kind of want to let the enemy hit me, but it could actually one-shot me, because the enemies at this point deal about, I think it's 11 to 13 damage. The bruisers, right? The ones we were charging. So you do have to be a little careful. Make sure you don't just stand still long enough to get hit. And the way I try to avoid standing still is by always pressing in a direction that moves me diagonally, right? So if I'm moving to the left, I will always press W and then switch into W. And then if I'm moving, for example, I'm kind of not hitting enemies, give me a second. Right? If I'm standing, go up, then move right before letting go of W, right? This way you're always moving in a direction, right? So you don't just ever have a complete standstill. No pixels should be basically happening where you're standing completely still. Here we are taking the health, the HP regen. I would say damage percent would be fine too, but at wave 8 I'd like to find a tier 3 upgrade, especially considering how much luck I have. 54 luck, that means we have a 50% higher chance to find those higher tier upgrades. We're going to go and take this. The bag loses us speed, so we're not going to do that with this character. Repost is completely fine. Adrenaline is also fine. I'd say just taking some dodge and armor is very nice. Right? They're both great. And then wave 9, we just have a bunch of small enemies. Fin aliens and chasers coming at us, which are not a big deal. They're very easy to clear out. This character definitely... I would say this, I haven't played Endless quite yet. I never felt interested in it. I do think I might make a series on it though, where I just see how far I can go. Or maybe not how far I can go, because that could take a really long time for a single video. But like, I might do something like, oh, you know, getting each character to wave 50, for example. Because even that would probably take more than almost 2 hours, I think, for one single video. So I'd have to think about it. But I do think that some characters would scale much worse. And I think Speedy is one of those characters. Because, like I said, he has really high upfront stats. You have a ton of speed, which gives you a bunch of melee damage right off the bat. But melee damage and speed are not really the best stats to scale permanently, right? There's much better things that you could scale permanently, like attack speed, damage percent, right? Even tanky stats, armor, all of these other stats are kind of better in my opinion. You don't need that much speed. Like 200% speed is funny and all, but I don't think it's super impactful. Yeah. I would take this. I should probably take armor. You know what? I will take this just for the fun. You know, more speed, haha. But taking some armor would be great. And then also we want to get some more dodge as well. And then we can take another jousting lance here. Take that. And then another one. Another one. Some more HP regen, some more speed, and let's continue. We have 107% speed, guys. 57 melee damage. So at this point, right, we only want to see more damage percent and attack speed for our damage stats, of course. You see, I got hit one time. It dealt 12 damage. And that was while I was moving as well. It wasn't like I stood still. If I stood still, that would have been double to 24. We'd be 1 HP. That's why I said getting armor is still important. Because once you have too much speed, it actually becomes very difficult to maneuver your character properly. Because the map is not, you know, you're not designed to move at 1,000 units per second. You move at 450 by default. So when you're moving at 1,000 instead, the game becomes a lot more easy. Or sorry, a lot more strange to move in. Enemies are pretty much 1/3 as quick as you at this point. Or like at the point where I'm at, right, with 110% speed. So it's a little obnoxious, which is why dodge and armor become actually really valuable on this character. So I do want to start taking some as soon as possible. I'll take a little bit of knockback. I think it's completely fine. Some melee damage. Okay, this is really overkill, but I will take it. You can see our melee damage scaling is not that good though. It's still 50%. The move speed, the movement speed scaling increases. The melee damage increase or scaling does not, okay? So you want to keep that in mind as well if you're prioritizing different stats. I will take the wings, even having said that I don't really want to move that much faster. But I do think it might make a good thumbnail, right? If I just have 200% move speed. Maybe I can do a race to see how long it takes to go from the left side of the screen to the right. Or a sort of, yeah, do a little timed race. And again, especially on a wave like this, you don't necessarily have to just be moving continuously. But you can, right? You can. if you want to. Because it does mean you deal more damage, technically. Well, it's more like you deal less damage when you stand still, right? You can see our damage is really, really minimal. And that's because it's late in the waves, so standing still is no longer super viable. We lose too much of our damage when we stand still. But you can stand still to make enemies group up, at least, and then start moving around once they are clumped. Okay, so here we would want to take armor normally. In this case, I'm going to take dodge, because we do have the dodge healing item. And more HP regen is incredible, of course. Go ahead and take everything. That gives us more survivability. Another lance. Very expensive, but we'll take it, of course. And now you can see the scaling is 50% based on our speed, 50% based on melee damage. And then you can see the other stats are pretty much the same. Right, so we do have a bit more attack speed, and we also have more speed here. But we get negative 25% damage while standing still, right? So it actually, that negative part of the passive increases. That just means we can't really stand still. That's all it means, right? We are against the Prey Mantis. So this is very obnoxious, but you can see how I'm moving, right? This is kind of how you have to move if you do want to kill the boss. You just have to circle around it non-stop and make sure you're not walking into any of the slashes by this particular boss, right? If it was another boss, just whatever they do, their mechanic is, make sure you're dodging, you're not getting hit, and you can probably just move in a circle like this around them until they're dead. There are other bosses that might be a little more dangerous. I think that also, that's definitely character dependent. So for Speedy, for example, it might be a little bit difficult to kill the Rhino. You're just non-stop charging, and you have to chase after him, and he's shooting projectiles behind him. Just an example. I wouldn't necessarily say he is more difficult, but you'll definitely feel it when you're fighting against certain mini-bosses, that it might just feel a little bit more difficult for you. We don't really need this. I'd rather take the money. And we don't want a tier 2 upgrade. Tier 4, that's great. 20 luck, we'll take it. Crit chance and dodge is also great. And continue, nothing else here. Continue again. Okay, this is one of the items we really wanted. I'm sure everyone knows. If you didn't think about it, I was also thinking, are we going to see a power generate this run? I take this on a lot of characters, not just Speedy. I think this item is very overtuned. If you're 30% speed, you just get 25% luck for free. Or sorry, damage percent, for example. On this character, it's beyond broken, right? We're going from 12% damage to 126. That is not fair. It is significantly better on this character than on most others. Okay? And yeah, we will be taking the Clover here. More luck, and also dodge percent. We are stacking dodge. And a baby gecko, because I love the baby gecko. No other reason to take the baby gecko. If you don't love the baby gecko, don't take it. He deserves to be loved, okay? If you don't want to buy him, leave him in the shop. I'll find him later and buy him. And yeah, I mean, you guys can probably see I haven't really struggled at all, right? This character is definitely a bit more mechanical. But I did tell you guys, right? You can try and do the thing, like I said. It might be very difficult at first, but one way to practice is just pressing WASD and then releasing. Basically, you can always be holding down 2 keys, or even, yeah, basically 2 keys at once, 2 movement keys, to move in a circle. Like I'll hold W and D. Sorry, I'm taking damage trying to show it, but I'm holding like W and D, then I'm holding D and S, then S and A, and I'm just moving around in a circle, right? Holding 2 of the movement keys at once. And that way you can kind of move in a smooth circle without stopping. Yeah? We could take this. This is really dangerous. I would not recommend taking this. I don't even want to take this. So I'm going to recycle it. And that's because Speedy is one of the characters where no matter how good of a player you are, if you have too much speed, you are not going to be maneuvering properly. We cannot really control that level of movement speed as humans at some point, right? Like if I had another 80% move speed, I promise you I would not be able to control it properly. So if you got to 200 move speed and you couldn't control it, don't blame yourself, okay? Maybe next time don't take so much move speed, right? I wouldn't even recommend getting to 100 like I currently am. I think anything past 100 is way too much. It's going to make it really, really uncomfortable for you, trying to move around properly. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just doing the circle maneuver, trying not to get hit as well, and then dodging all the projectiles. Move down, away from all the enemies a little bit. I'm also trying to, like, move in and out to pick up the fruits and heal myself. But yeah, this is what I said, like, you really have to practice that circular motion, so you can get the full damage, and you also don't lose armor. Like, see, I can make really tight circles like this, right? Because I'm used to it. So just practice. Just keep practicing. You'll get used to it, I promise. It's very annoying to do. That's why I'd say Speedy is actually one of my least favorite characters, to be honest. I think in the series so far, I dislike Speedy the most. I won't say I hate him, but I definitely wouldn't play him over many of the other characters. We'll go ahead and take some range. Range is great for us. Lucky coin, not so great. We don't really have any crit chance. We could actually take it in anticipation for getting more, but I don't think it's worth it. We're just going to continue moving on. We could take a beanie. Again, I don't think getting more speed is necessary. We're going to go ahead and skip it. We'd rather spend our money on other, more effective things. The wings is interesting though. 5 melee damage plus 30 range. The range is quite nice. It is really expensive. The problem is I have power generator, so it's actually more damage because it's damage percent and melee damage, right? So we probably should buy it, even though it's a little bit annoying. And yeah, you can see I can make tight circles like this anywhere. This is probably the most important part of Speedy, being able to do this. And again, some people might even get like motion sickness. I'm not sure how serious it is for some people. But I do think this character is not super fun to play. Definitely not something I would like to play super often. He's probably one of my least played characters, if anything, to be honest. So I can imagine people would struggle on him as well because of the don't stand still debuff, right? Like if you stand still, you get debuffed in multiple ways. Oh my goodness. And you see I get hit twice and I almost die. So I have to be so careful on this character. It is partially because I never took any max HP. I kept taking more and more speed. I'm just dodging projectiles everywhere. Okay. Yeah. This wave was really dangerous, right? We had a ton of enemies who shot projectiles at us. I will go ahead and take this, and some crit chance as well. Okay, max HP finally. We are losing a little bit of dodge. I do think it's probably worth it. We need some more max HP at this point. The medal as well. It's also probably worth it, to be honest. And so is the shark fin, just because we need that healing. But the thing is, we actually don't even have any lifesteal. So this is basically just 10% speed, which gives us melee damage and damage percent. So would we trade that for luck? It's probably worth it, yes. I think the most dangerous wave is actually the one I just did for Speedy. Because there's so many projectiles flying through, and you don't really have the option of running through the map, right? Because you have too high of a... your movement speed is so high that it becomes difficult to move through the map properly. So again, you don't actually need as much as I've taken. I'm probably just going to screenshot it and put it in my thumbnail. But I actively don't recommend going past like 100% move speed. I think that's already probably really difficult for a lot of people. If you even went up to 70%, I think that's plenty. That's enough to win, right? The other 60% speed that I have, you could turn that into armor, turn it into health, turn into dodge, turn into some damage stats, right? Anything. It would all be fine. Because you can see I'm critting for nearly 800, right? So I clearly don't need more damage at this point. Just taking some armor like this is incredible. That's really good for us. I also think the sad tomato is really good here because we were stacking HP regen. Shmoop also incredible, and the fin is okay, right? We had the power generator, it goes well with our passive. The regeneration potion also quite good. We're gonna go ahead and lock that. Anything that makes us more likely to survive is really good at this point, because we hit more than hard enough, right? Also, I feel like I'm probably giving some people a headache, but you can see if I stand still, my damage is a lot lower actually. And I put myself at risk because I have much less armor. I can show you guys. Negative 95 armor, you take 86% more damage. So it's nearly double damage taken when you're standing still. This is why you have to get really good at this sort of circular movement, just to make sure you're never standing still. And you can go either way, right? Clockwise, counterclockwise, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. As long as you're moving in a smooth circle, then you will not get the debuff. And I think that's probably the only mechanic that really matters on Speedy. Aside from that, you just have to be able to process things really quickly, so you know where to move when you're in danger, and you know how to move to dodge projectiles, and so on, right? This is also probably the most mechanically intensive character that I've played in the series so far. So I do apologize if you guys can't just log in, copy me, and win your runs. But like I said, try to get that smooth circle motion, either way, left or right, it doesn't really matter. Try to get that smooth motion going, and once you have it down, you'll be a lot safer in your runs. Attack speed is incredible. We have a ton of damage percent and melee damage. Attack speed and crit chance like this is way too expensive though for my taste, are really nice nonetheless. This is also really good, by the way. We do lose a lot of armor though. -3 armor for every weapon you have. But it deals, look how much damage. 1,309 damage. It's quite funny. And the scaling isn't even that good for us, to be honest, so. Giant's Belt. We don't need more melee damage, of course. That's complete overkill. You can buy this. Crit chance and dodge are really welcome. We love both of those right now. This increases our survivability, and crit chance is probably the best damage stat we can take, aside from attack speed. Okay, we are against the Gargoyle. And as you can see, it becomes very obnoxious to kill things like this. But since our damage is so high, we kind of just skipped phase 1. Oh my goodness, I had to move really crazily there. I cannot explain that. I will say, it's likely if you try to do what I just did, you will die. I kind of focused 100% the second I saw I took any damage. I stopped talking and just focused. But generally speaking, these bosses can actually kill you quite easily if you make mistakes. And if you're not completely focused. So, if anything, if you're fighting a boss, especially the one I just fought, the Gargoyle, it's probably better to just stay away from him, to be honest, to be completely honest. I think he has a very high chance of killing people. Picking up all the fruit, I took some damage. There's also the Colossus, the one who shoots a bunch of projectiles kind of in a big square around him, because it's so easy to run into them. It's very difficult to fight against. Night Goggles is great, crit chance in range, we'll go ahead and take. Skip this, Silver Bullet, amazing. We don't need Snowball, dodge percent, take our Giant's Belt, take a Lure, and yeah, right? Our money's almost gone already, so. We could take Mastery, but realistically we don't need any more melee damage, so we're just going to go ahead and skip it. Metal would be good, but we're going to go ahead and skip it as well. At this point we really do just want to get some survivability stats. You can see we're dealing 900 damage per crit now. We absolutely do not need any more damage. I think this is by far the most damage we dealt on a character in this series. Maybe we'll get 1,000 for the first time, right? I should probably force it, just so I can put it in the thumbnail as well. Put our speed in the thumbnail, and then put our 100 or 1,000 damage attack in the thumbnail. Again, I really do apologize if you're getting a headache watching this. I'd recommend looking away. Maybe until wave 20, just wait until the boss wave. You can look back and see how much damage we do to the boss. And you can see I can kind of chain together like a little, like an 8 sign, infinity sign. This character is very funny, by the way. I find him very, very funny. Oh, we're not going to take the alien baby. Let's see if we can get some more damage. Crit chance, sure, we'll just take the crit chance. Can we get some more? Okay, yeah, crit chance. Crit chance. This also gives armor and dodge. You know what, we'll take it, we'll take it. More damage, and an upgrade, and that's it. Okay, we made it to the boss wave. Again, I do not recommend you have 160% move speed if you're just starting out. I think even if you hit 100%, you will struggle to move properly. So just start out slower, and you can get more and more for fun. Limit testing on your own. But if I had like 60% less move speed and just put that all into armor, then this run would never have been close looking, in my opinion. I got hit by that, I walked into it. Like I said, it's a little difficult to control right. Let's go ahead and kill the invoker and end the run. 1,167 damage. Okay, that is amazing. So that is our highest damage so far. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. That is it for now, okay? Next time we will be playing the next character. Also at 150%, 57% speed. Next time we will be playing the entrepreneur. Um, I think this character is quite fun as well, so I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, see you next time maybe. If you have any questions or comments or anything, maybe just leave a comment for me below. And if you like this, maybe leave me a like and subscribe, please. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, that's it for now. Bye bye.